Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome to Behind the Magic. I'm Tanya, your host, and I am here with my friend Steven, and we are going over his library of over 3,000 books. So join us every week as we cover 10 random books at a time. Hi, Steven.
Hey, Tanya. How are you tonight?
Fantastic. We're going to just dive right in. And the first book we have is titled Levitation. What it is, how it works, how to do it. This book was written by Stephen Richards. It's the first comprehensive manual for transcending gravity through meditational techniques. This book was put out by the Aquarian Press in 1980.
Yeah, this is one that I bought from the local bookstore in the mall. That was B. Dalton back in the days.
I worked there.
But that was like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little book. I've had it since the 1980s. I read it back to front. Unfortunately, I cannot levitate.
Still haven't mastered that one, huh?
I haven't quite mastered that. But it's a good little book covering various mystical exercises with a purported intent of making you have the ability to defy gravity. I don't think it works. It was an interesting read. It'd be interesting to know if it was still in print. I don't think it is. There is another one in this series, and it's called Invisibility, How to Master the Art of Invisibility. That's sometimes a little easier to pull off.
I've mastered that
Donald
one.
Michael Craig, in his book Modern Magic, strongly suggests that the Rose Cross ritual will help you achieve that. While you won't be actually invisible, you'll go unnoticed, as it were. He talks about a situation where he was running late for a very important appointment, so it took a few minutes to do the Rose Cross ritual, hopped in the car and exceeded the speed limit. He knew there were officers in the area, but nobody tagged him. He got there just in time.
Don't try this at home, kids.
No, don't do that. But yeah, cool little book.
Oh, I have a story about invisibility.
Do you?
Yeah. So I was in the woods at a big camp out one time, and I was walking around with a friend of mine, and it's at night, and we're walking down the trails, and I'm like, motion for my friend to step off the trail. So we stepped just off the trail, and we're standing there like really quiet. And the people kept passing us by, and every once in a while somebody would look up and smile, and we'd smile and keep walking. And then my friend was like, "What are we doing?" And I said, "We're being invisible." And my friend thought about that for a little while, and then a few minutes later says, "Well, if we're invisible, then how come those people can see us?" And I looked at my friend and I said, "Those people know how to be invisible too."
That's pretty good. I don't think you've ever told me that story.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's one of those key gatherings that we went to.
Those were fun.
Yeah. Okay, so the next book we have, The Hidden Treasures of the Ancient Qabala by Elias Gewirtz, Gewurz. It was put out by the Yogi Publication Society. Now, don't see a year anywhere on here.
Oh, that was way, way before all that.
Before,
that thing was from the 1920s or so, maybe 1930s.
Yeah, before publication dates and ISBNs and all of that. This is volume 1, The Transmutation of Passion into Power. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, this is another eBay treasure. I'm not sure it's exactly about the Qabala. I don't see Tree of Life in here or anything like that. It's mostly Masonic temple stuff. I don't think I ever got around to reading. I read some of it, but it's mostly Masonic stuff, and I can't say I was particularly interested in it. It's one of those things you stumble across eBay.
And you just need it for your collection.
Yeah, you just need it for your collection. It's not bad to have around. I mean, it's darn thing's from 1920s, I believe. Yeah, there's 1918.
Is that? Oh my gosh, 1918.
Yeah.
Wow.
1918.
Over 100 years old, that book.
Yeah, still holding together pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good paper. It's not yellowed a great deal. The pages are still nice and crisp.
It's a library bound.
Yeah, this is from the Yogi Publication Society. They put out a load of metaphysical and occult works. Nothing too heavy like Uncle Aleister Crowley's stuff. Nothing like that. They're a pretty genial bunch of people. The kind of people you get excited about, you go to meetings with them and everything, and they're so boring. Just, oh my God, all you can do is just suffocate.
Right?
Yeah.
Boring. You want to talk about boring? Go to a Department of Planning and Transportation meeting.
Oh my gosh. Why would you?
Well, I was a member of Main Street Milton. I sat on the design committee, and they were talking about putting a new interstate exit, and they were discussing where they were going to put it, and they didn't want to run it through downtown Milton, all that kind of good stuff. So as a member of the board, I went and sat through that. I mean, it was very educational, but I needed toothpicks for my eyes.
Oh, yeah. Prop those lids open.
But now I really understand how the roadwork system works and how they decide what to do and all that. I'm a better person for it.
Yeah.
So our next book here, another really old book. This is In the Pronaos of the Temple of Wisdom by Franz
I never
Hartmann.
Googled that. I don't think.
No?
I don't know what Pronaos is. Probably it's the threshold of the temple.
Right, that makes
thinking.
sense. Put out by Aries Press.
Yeah, Chicago. They were the first to publish Israel Regardie's Golden Dawn work.
It's a limited
I think I've
subscription
got
edition.
3 volumes
Of what?
around here from the Aries Press edition of Israel Regardie's monumental work, The Golden Dawn, which has, of course, influenced Western occultism since the 1800s, after the Golden Dawn was established. You can pick up practically any modern magic book right now and find the spiritual exercises are somehow, at least nominally, rooted in those that the Golden Dawn taught. Grounding and centering, that's just the middle pillar
ritual. Yeah.
Ritual. Certainly, the LBR, Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, you'll find that's been edited and reworked several times. People drawing pentagrams and circles in the air, which I thought was quite ingenious. Why not just go beyond drawing the pentagrams and the circle on the floor and actually cast it on the astral plane?
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you can visualize that, and that's what you do with those exercises. They're visualizations.
Mm-hmm. So this book here, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. We're not very far into this library, but once we do get further into it, we're going to start cataloging and organizing, so we'll be able to talk more about who does what. This book is a limited subscription edition, and the original publication was put out in 1890 by the Theosophical Society and Occult Publishing Company. Mm-hmm. This edition was reprinted March 1945. Got a lot of really cool things in it.
And the author is Franz Hartmann, M.D. I believe he was a German occultist. He wrote another book, I'm fairly certain, called Black and White Magic, which is a philosophical work on magic. It was really good. I read it when I was a teenager. I was a little disappointed there weren't magic rituals in it, but by then I had enough magic rituals on my shelf that I could be quite satisfied. But I was always looking for something new and different. I believe I found this in that old used bookstore out on Navy Boulevard.
Halsey's
Book Index.
It's not there anymore. It's a laundromat now.
Yeah. When I was off from work, I would inevitably find myself out there browsing the stacks. Mm. And this, too, is a very philosophical look at the spiritual, metaphysical path from the German occult perspective. Rosicrucian orders, he covers all those sorts of things in this. It's a very good book. I enjoyed reading it. It was something you really have to dig your claws into. Mm-hmm. Because there's some, very much like with Black and White Magic, because there's some very interesting chapters that turn on a fine point, like fine spiritual point. Well, this is just metaphysics. And metaphysics is a college-worthy course. If you're going to get into something like metaphysics, you're going to have to jump in both feet.
Yeah, because I think about metaphysics or any of those kind of things. You can't just read a book.
No.
And then you can't just read the books just once.
That's what the whole idea behind magic is. It's the idea of you don't pray your way into heaven, you storm the gates of heaven.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Right.
And take over.
Yeah, it requires work. All spiritual discipline. That's why I call them spiritual discipline. Right? Mm-hmm. I should have put a broad art on this book.
Should have.
I don't know why I didn't. I typically put broad art on all of my books. For those of you who don't know what broad art is, it's a plastic cover that helps keep the book intact. Also make it look a little bit better. But that's okay. It's got a ratty cover on it. It's torn in several places. It's I think it's from 1945. Right?
Right, yeah.
So, but still in good condition. It's aged very well. Yep, good book. I liked it.
Okay. Our next book is another old library-bound book. It's really pretty. The 6th and seventh books of Moses, the mystery of all mysteries. It was put out by the DeLawrence Company, but again, I can't find a year on this. Oh, wait, here we go. That's not it. Contains 125 seals and talismans, translated from the German original, word for word, according to the old ancient writings and famous manuscript of the Hebrews.
I have several copies of this book. I got paperback copies. I've got...
Really?
Yeah, I do. It's, believe it or not, this book is a very, very important book in Southern Conjure or Hoodoo.
Our favorite.
Yeah. It also it turns up in some of the early recordings of field research and folklorists who collected this stuff. Black root doctors relied on it for their talismans and that sort of thing. I get a paperback version, just cut the darn things out because it's really hard to copy this stuff down. But yeah, it doesn't have any real pedigree as far as anything to do with the actual Bible, but it's certainly an interesting book. Obviously, it wasn't written by Moses because it's got talismans in here with the name of Jesus on it.
Right, yeah.
So I don't think so. But yeah, it turns up a lot in Hoodoo. You could find these all over the place. And back in the day, I hate to say it, but back in the day, you got your spiritual supplies through the mail.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, places like the Tyrad Company and Anna Riva's International Imports. Love me some Anna Riva.
Yeah.
Shout out to Anna. But yeah, you can find these all over the place. You can actually go online now, and some people on eBay, they have printed these seals out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you put them in a hoodoo bag, a nation sack, that sort of thing. And if you're really crafty, you can craft them yourself. Just go to Michael's and buy you a bunch of colored pens and some stock craft paper, and get to work. And you can weave them in candle magic, that sort of thing. Like, for instance, one instance, you might to obtain victory over your enemies, you might dress a black candle and place one of the seals of Mars or Aries on top of it, and just do your thing.
Yeah.
This is a good little addition. This, by the way, I want to say something about the DeLawrence people. Our Uncle Al, Aleister Crowley, entertained he called them a bunch of Yankee pirates. Because they would literally, the DeLawrence Company would literally take other people's stuff and put it under their publishing.
Wow.
Right? They wouldn't credit the authors or anything. They just take it.
Right.
They have a copy of Aleister Crowley's Megaton, I believe. But he literally said that they were a bunch of Yankee pirates, and he did not appreciate them.
Damn
at
Yankees.
all. Yeah. The DeLawrence Company was actually taken to court by the United States government.
What?
For mail fraud.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because he sold all the elixirs, the hoodoo oils, and the seals, and all that sort of thing. And the prosecuting attorney asked him, "Sir, do you really believe this stuff?" And he thought, DeLawrence, who's the guy that had the company, he thought for about half a second, says, "Yes, I do."
Oh,
yes, I do.
Good job.
But that's where you get the prohibition against selling that stuff without a warning. These
for
things
entertainment purposes
for
only.
entertainment purposes only. There's no spiritual powers are implied or said,
guaranteed,
or guaranteed or anything. That's how far back that goes.
Yeah.
And this was what'd you say? This was from the 1930s.
1945.
1945. DeLawrence even took A.E. Waite's Pictorial Key to the Tarot.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I've got a copy of it, a paperback copy of it that I bought in the 70s. And I thought, when I was reading, this sounds suspiciously like I've read this before, and looks a lot like, oh my God. And I picked the A. Waite edition off my bookshelf and compared it page by page. I'm like, wow, this dude was a ripoff.
Totally.
Yeah, he was.
It's crazy.
But if you ever find one, they're a good piece of history, occult history.
Right, yeah.
That story that I just told you comes from Spiritual Merchants, which is a really cool book to get into. This woman goes around just beats the bushes until she finds just every scrap of antique Southern Conjure hoodoo supplies she can find. And I think that's where I read that story. Or it could have been Magic. I got a book called Magic Books. I can't remember the exact title of it right now, but I remember reading that story and said, yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah.
That guy was a crook.
It's funny.
But he believed in magic.
Yeah, well, believed in it so much that he got rich off of other people's magic.
He did.
Okay, our next book is called The Magic Mirror. It's Divination Through the Ancient Art of Scrying by John Nelson. And I'm looking at here, it looks like it was originally published in 1947, but this copy is 2007.
Can't be 1947.
Well, it says here, Nelson John, 1947, The Magic Mirror.
Really?
Yeah.
That was part of a kit. It actually came with a black scrying mirror and a little plastic
fun
holder. I get bored easily, so I can't sit in front of a mirror or crystal ball for long without my foot beginning to tap, you know? It's a part of a kit that actually had a black mirror, and you'll find it around here somewhere.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually. It's in one of the boxes.
Yeah. Well, we're almost done with the boxes. We've just got a few left, actually.
Are there any upstairs?
No, there's no more upstairs.
No? Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's been a lot of work.
Yes. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. My friend Tanya here has just done an amazing job of putting these books out and accessible. I was just astonished. Absolutely astonished. I think she may have done it with demonic help. Like King Solomon built the temple. Yeah.
Well, there are 11.
This is a mighty piece of magic.
11 bookcases now. Over 3,000 books. Over 8,000 record albums. I don't even know how many candles and incense and oils, and I don't even get me started on the oils.
Well, that's the pleasure of not having children and not paying alimony.
Right.
You get to spend your money where you damn well please. I can't believe this is older than actual text is older. 2007. Where'd you see? Oh, wow. Holy crap, you're right. 1947.
Sometimes
I had
I'm right.
no idea. I'm actually have to reread this book, but I remember it being a trudge.
Yeah.
Absolutely trudging through it. I didn't think that the author was a good writer. I'm sorry. Mr. John Nelson, really I am, but actually kind of put me off the spot. I did a few experiments with it. You know? But yeah, I might just have to go back and look at this book again. It's full of exercises, ritual preparations. Tells you how to slow your breath down so that you can break through to the other side.
Break on through to the other side.
That's right. The Doors, right on.
Doors of Perception.
Yep. I have that book.
The Doors of Perception by Huxley?
I do. That was a great
He wrote
book.
another book called Cleansing the Doors of Perception.
I don't think that he wrote it, though.
Yeah, he wrote it.
He
Cleansing
did?
the Doors of Perception. Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, a lot of spiritual exercises are well worth doing and having this book. I'm fairly certain that there's old John Nelson himself on the back of this book.
One of the things that people don't think about when they start practicing magic is it's a practice. It's a discipline.
Yes. It's like you practice medicine.
Right, yeah. There's so many things you need to do to prepare, to learn, to make it effective. You can't just rip a spell out of a book and light some candles and do magic. That's not, it doesn't work that way.
I'll tell you what, though, when I first started out, I was ripping them out everywhere. It was just a crap. Maybe it was my youthful energy or something. I was really into it.
Right.
One time I was getting teased at school. I was in high school with my buddies, because I was reading all these books, and they were over at the house one afternoon, and they were teasing me back and forth. Well, what can you do? What do you do, And so we're walking back to another guy's house, which was across the pasture, and I says, well, how about I make the wind blow, right?
Yeah.
And they all laughed. They all cracked up. And I got this spell from an anthology. It goes something like, come hither, sir, come hither, my lord. Let down thy locks so long and flowing. I said it 3 times. Nothing happened, and then a gentle breeze began to sweep across the top of the trees, and it came out and enveloped all of us. And those guys were just like, what the fuck?
We're not hanging out with you anymore.
No!
That's
the problem with this
friends.
path.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this path. You will not make a lot of friends.
Yeah.
No. You'll scare the hell out of them.
You know what I can't stand is for the muggles out there, is they find out you're a witch, and one of the first things that comes out of their mouth, are you going to turn me into a frog?
Yeah.
I'm like,
really? If I could, I would.
Right?
Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
just for saying that.
Yeah, just for saying that.
But I've gotten to where I tell people now, it's too much red tape.
Yeah. I don't need all that.
Okay, so our next book is called The Book of Light, and this is by Lady Sarah, and it's put out by Magic Child Publishing, which is a really great publishing company. It's put out in 1974. It's a trade paper.
The notorious Herman Slater of the Warlock Shop in Brooklyn, New York, I think. Let's see if I can find that in here. Magical Child Publishing. Yeah, this is when he had the Warlock Shop first, and then he went on to open the Magical Child, which is another cult store. And this is from 1974, and it's an overview of a lot of candle techniques, incense, colors, that sort of thing. It's a basic primer.
Right.
It really is. I happened to find a bunch of these things. Someone on eBay was just selling stacks of them, so you'll find multiple versions of them.
Yeah,
I've
did
given
find
most of them away.
We have about 6 copies of this book, and I was looking it up on eBay, and it goes for like a couple $100 a copy now.
Yeah.
So, if you're following along, maybe one day we might want to part with one, so pay attention.
I gotta stop giving them away. Well, I tried initially selling them on eBay, and they didn't sell. But this is interesting stuff, because some of the oils in here go way, way back. Way, way back. Really traditional hoodoo stuff. This is fundamentally American folk magic.
Love it.
Spells like this, where you move the candles. That's old hoodoo. Southern conjure thing.
Candle magic.
Yeah, I love candle magic. I do.
Yeah, I posted on YouTube, on my community page, a question or a poll. Do you rather prefer candle magic or crystal magic? And it was 100% candle magic.
Yeah, that actually works.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to find the... Yeah, these are some blends you haven't heard of in decades now. Even the awesome Lucky Mojo company doesn't put these out anymore. This is Abtina incense, an old and well-known blend that is used as an aid in contacting the inner planes. It is also used for blessing and protection. Qabala incense, that's straight up voodoo stuff. Fire of Azrael incense. I think Herman made these in the back of his shop.
That's cool.
Yeah. Voodoo oil. A lot of those old manufacturers, they used to make their own oils. I'm sure Anariva did, because Anariva stuff just smells nothing like traditional hoodoo oils. Man, would I love to have, say, a pint of money drawing oil by Anariva.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that stuff was amazing. They don't put it out anymore. For years, a company named Wisdom Products bought her out after she retired, and she made them promise that they would keep all the oils out. They've done a particularly good job on that. Of all the oils to slack on money drawing oil,
right? Seriously,
why would you do that? Unless they're putting it out and they sell it overnight,
Right.
That could be a thing.
Yeah, that's another poll I did. Do you want to hear more about love magic or money magic? And again, it was 100% money magic.
Shit, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Money makes you a lot cuter. It really does.
It's very true.
Yeah. You got money, you ain't got no problems with finding somebody.
Nope.
Yeah. Just buy you a big, nice black Cadillac, go cruising downtown. Hey, baby. What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a lot of stuff, hours of the day, when to start. It's basically a survey of American magic at the time.
Well, I say at the heyday of magic, but here lately, magic is like just becoming commonplace. I posted a thing on Facebook the other day that said, magic used to be underground.
Yes.
Now Betsy thinks she's a witch because she bought sage at the Whole Foods market.
Right. Is there enough evidence to convict Betsy, though?
Right.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, last time I was in New Orleans, I was just astounded at the number of occult shops there. I mean, it's just like...
I want to go!
Oh, yeah, New Orleans, yeah.
You promised to take me to New Orleans.
Okay, well, let's get it on the list. Talk to Victor.
Yeah. Well, you took me over there for a concert, a metal concert years ago. That was fun.
Yeah.
I wound up going to the horrible tourist trap, Marie Laveau's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. What a disappointment.
Yeah.
That really was. But yeah, Magical Child, Herman Slater. That guy's worth looking up. He was quite a controversial figure in the New York underground occult scene. He was quite a character. Well worth reading that bio.
Okay. On to our next book. The Qabalistic Tarot by Robert Wang. This was put out by Samuel Weiser in 1983. This is a really cool looking book.
It's a terrific book.
Nice big hardcover book.
And I read it right in the day, right front to back. Really enjoyed this book. He had a lot of profound insight into the Tarot and Qabala. Real heavy on the Qabala. Naturally, I had his, look at that. That's from the Golden Dawn Tarot. That's a marker for the book.
Oh, he used a tarot card as a bookmarker.
Yeah, I can't remember where I got that out of the my copy of that tarot. Obviously, I did. I don't think they would randomly put that in the book. Oh, I know why that's there, because I started rereading this again years ago. Yeah, but it's a very, very good overview of the Tarot, Qabalistic origins, its history. I don't recall anything really notable about it, though. Good standard work. I wonder if it's still in print. I don't know. It's of course Golden Dawn magic stuff. Right. But yeah, good book. I'm trying to remember how I found out about it, because after a while it's kind of hard to. In the early 80s, it was hard to get stuff. I think I wore out my local B. Dalton's bookstore by ordering special orders. Once I learned that I could do that, it was on. Yeah.
So next we have another book on Tarot called The Tarot.
Richard Cavendish.
Richard Cavendish. Mm-hmm.
Yes. If you haven't read The Black Arts, you owe yourself.
The Black Arts.
The Black Arts. Yeah. Yes. Some of the people that visited me early on, they see Cavendish is he's a terrific writer. He really was. The Black Arts is a great book to read. But some folks looked askance at me because I was reading a book on the Black Arts. I didn't make any real distinction between back then, you know.
Right.
I thought that was part of the whole thing. The Black Arts, okay.
Right. The dark arts.
The dark arts, yeah. What do I care? You know, that raises your hackles. Well, you don't need to be looking at my bookshelf.
Right. This one was put out by Chancellor Press, originally in 1975, reprinted again in 1987 and 1988.
Yeah.
This has got some great illustrations.
It's beautiful, isn't it? This is like the great old coffee table books.
Yes.
You know? Apparently it was a remainder because you see where the bookstore owner clipped the cover? Right. It's price clipped. Yeah, that means there's a remainder. So not everybody's a big fan of the Tarot. So what? Shut up. Yeah, and these are some modern, I think they got the James Bond Tarot in here. More of an illustration. I don't see Salvador Dali or anything like that. But it's got some beautiful pics. If you find it, maybe a used bookstore or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's got all those great woodcuts, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I love woodcuts.
Oh my God, me too. Just endlessly fascinating stuff. But yeah, he has several, he covers several decks, the history of the Tarot, which is a murky history. I don't think we'll ever understand how the Tarot sprung just full on from the medieval mind. Right. It's just a mysterious thing. Like, who was the female pope? You know? Was that based on a real story? Would that really happen? Some speculated that, we may have had a female pope disguised as a male. That's crazy. But the illustrations are beautiful. Got some information about William Butler Yeats. Oh, there's Uncle Al. Look at that. Hey, handsome. Mr. Uncle Al, Mr. Crowley. Mathers, Samuel Liddell. Yeah, history of magic and the Tarot, they're intertwined. Yeah, absolutely. Just absolutely intertwined. You can't separate one from the other. And if you think about it, if you're a working magician or something like that, you're a working magician, and by I say that, I mean you have clients, right? So you'll need, the first thing you need to discover what your client's problem is a deck of tarot cards or a standard deck of cards, whatever floats your boat. Mm-hmm. But I can read both. Yes, but you got to pick your battles on that one, because some people, if the devil comes up in that spread, they flip out. Oh yeah. Or death. You know? Or death. Yeah, I'm like, don't worry about the devil or death. Yeah. Worry when you get the tower. Yes. That one. That's the one to worry about. Indeed. But Richard Cavendish was a terrific author. His writing style was very fluid. He could carry you along a paragraph like a wave carries you to shore. He was really good. And again, if you're listening to this, read The Black Arts by Cavendish. It's got some great stories in it. Looks like it's in good condition. Yeah. I wonder if this has got to be an eBay score. Yeah. This has got to be an eBay score. Must have got it cheap. But I got sticky after a while about what kind of book I would buy on eBay. Like if this was an early purchase, because with that right there, with the price tag cut off of it like that, I wouldn't have bought this book.
Right, yeah, that's defacing the value.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's
secondhand, used. Probably came from a bargain table. There's a little damage to the front end cover, like a little smudge mark or something. But I did have the good sense to cover this in broad art. Yeah, I used to. I got really excited about when the internet came out and everything like that in the early '90s. You know, that's where my paycheck went. Basically,
books on eBay.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next book, another really great coffee table book, is This Spectred Isle, A Journey Through Haunted England by Simon Marsden. Words by Val Holzler and Susan Kelleher.
Yeah, Marsden is the renowned photographer. He's quite an artist.
I said this
I don't know if he's still around.
Coffee table book. This is a Barnes and Noble publication.
Yes.
Yeah, put out in 2005.
I forget where I first came across this. It must have been some kind of a cult magazine or something like that. But it got high remarks for its beautiful photography, artwork, that sort of thing. And of course, it's about, look at that, isn't that beautiful? How gothic is that?
That is really cool.
That is super gothic. Very cool. Something like you'd see in a Hammer horror film, but it's for real.
That's what's cool about England. That's why a lot of those old black and white horror films.
Yeah. I sometimes tell people I want to visit the Holy Land, and they'll go, Israel? I go, hell no. England. And they're like, what? England. That's where my people come from.
Right. Your people.
My religious people.
Yeah.
The Spectral Isle. I would really love to. Maybe another life. I don't know.
Put it on your list. Make it happen. Are you a witch or are you a mouse?
Right. Beautiful pictures. Ancient castles, ancient archways, and of course, our lovely, lovely Stonehenge. But yeah, this is very, very nice. And it's a first edition. There's nothing wrong with this. It's uncut. I wonder if I actually bought this from Barnes & Noble or bought it from eBay. A lot of my stuff comes from eBay. I can't remember. What year did you say this was?
2005.
Well, I probably got it from Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
That's about the time they were around. I got really excited when Barnes & Noble came to town.
Oh, yeah. I was a department manager there for 3 years.
Yeah. Children's, right?
No, department. I did. I had children's. I had the newsstand. I had the bargain center, bargain area.
Yeah, I heard a piece of dating advice a while back ago.
What's that?
If you're hanging out at a bookstore, don't hang out at the bargain base.
Bargain books, right.
Bargain table. Don't do that. Because they'll be like, oh, that boy's poor. I'm going to move right along here.
Well, I might like that. I mean, like,
poor and strange.
Thrifty.
Poor and strange.
Poor and strange, right?
Yeah.
Pagan, synonymous with poor, it seems.
Ooh.
So our last book here is another book on the Tarot, again, put out by Barnes & Noble, written by Rachel Pollack in 1999. Another really pretty coffee table book.
Yeah, but is this a remainder? No, it doesn't look like it. Nope. Good solid stuff. Rachel Pollack is a renowned writer.
Yeah. On
the Tarot. She I've got 2 of her books, The Complete Tarot. It's 2 volumes. It's brilliant. She wrote something that stuck with me ever since I read it. She said, working with the Tarot, learning the Tarot, and ultimately mastering it is like having an older, wiser friend.
Right, I remember that saying.
Yeah, it's not going to predict the weather tomorrow. We don't need that.
Right.
But what it will do is it will give you guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now if you follow the guidelines and that sort of thing, you get stuff done, right? Yeah. But it's like having an older, wiser friend. So it reminds me of a story when I was just in utter despair of my financial situation, right? I wasn't making money. I had a job and everything like that. I just wasn't bringing in the bucks. So I did a tarot reading on it, right? Now, essentially, it went through and it showed my situation, the dreaded 5 of Pentacles turned up, right? Poverty, misery, that sort of thing. Although my state wasn't quite that bad. I had a roof over my head, But the one thing that stuck out about me, about that reading, was it said that I was frittering away my resources.
Yeah.
And I was like, not really. I haven't got resources to fritter away.
Yeah.
And I don't usually do this, but I had a very, very dear client regular client. He was real good to me. And I typically not. It's unprofessional to talk about your, financial situation or whatever,
Right.
But I did. And he said, do this. This was like a month after that reading. He says, do this. Go down to the Dollar Tree and get you one of those small blank notebooks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And every day, don't change anything about what you're doing. Okay, for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you open your wallet, you put it in there. You write it down in that book.
Right.
Again, don't change anything because what you got to do is you got to discover where your money's going.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so I did that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
2 Starbucks a day.
No way,
Really?
Jose.
Exactly.
You crazy.
And a lunch, that include drinks, fries, and all that.
Right.
Wasn't healthy for me, that's for sure. I made something at home and brought my lunch to work, And magazines, that I really didn't need. I said that I did that, and he goes, yeah. And he gave me some other financial advice, which I stuck to for about 7 months.
Right. Uh-huh.
And then I was overcome.
Right.
Yeah, but this is a good book. For those of you who are listening, I highly recommend Rachel Pollack's other works because this is a good overview. Again, it's a coffee table book, beautifully illustrated.
Uh-huh.
Still got the price tag on it, $15.
It's got to be worth more than that
Worth
now.
every penny. Yeah, that's another thing we ought to be doing too. Just randomly pulling books off the shelf and just looking them up on eBay.
Yeah.
But she's got card reading techniques in here. Here's a 3-card spread. I think she probably does the Qabalistic cross.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't do anymore because they just say the Qabalistic cross doesn't do anything for them.
No, I love the Qabalistic cross because it's iconic. It's easy.
Yeah.
Those are I have 3 spreads that I do. The Qabalistic cross is always the first one. I do the 3-card spread, and I do the Wheel of the Year.
Yeah, if you want something really intense. I'm lazy, though.
So
I usually stick with the Tree of Life spread.
But I always say to people, reading tarot is not fortune-telling.
No, it's not.
No.
Yeah, it just points out some very obvious things. And again, it's like an older, wiser friend.
Well, that's what
you may not like what it says.
Right, yeah.
I've
had that happen too.
Yes, but this is for real.
Yeah.
This stuff is for real. You buy yourself a deck of tarot cards and you work with it. I recommend the AE Weight for beginners.
Always. That's the one I use.
Right off the bat. And you can take that little white book, throw it in the garbage. Okay? Yeah. You take those cards and every day you create a story out of them. Not like you're doing divination. This is one of the techniques that Pollack taught. Mm-hmm. Just take the cards out. It's easier if they're the AE Weight because it's like a pictograph thing. Right? And you just look at them and you just create a story. You weave a tapestry out of that story.
Right.
And you'll get to know the tarot real quick. It'll become a living, breathing entity that you can ask for advice at any given time. Best therapy I ever had, and cheap.
A lot of the tarot, if you look at it, they're all based on the Rider-Waite.
Yeah.
It was just the different artist interpretations of it. So what I like to do when I get a new deck of a different sort is that. Just sit down and go through every single card and look at it and see how I feel about it.
Right.
But I tell people when I do a reading, like I said, it's not like this is going to happen tomorrow. Like I said, I call it psychic counseling.
Yes.
Like it says
the conditions are right for
right.
a new love affair.
It's kind of like it takes a snapshot of your life and it says, here's where you're at based on what you've been doing and what's going on around you. And if you don't change anything, this is how it's going to go. So if you don't like the final outcome, then we can look back and see where you can make changes.
Right. You can change it up.
Right.
That's what the whole thing...
That's the whole point of it,
yeah.
The whole people are like, well, once you get a reading, why do you need another one? I'm like, because every time you make a decision, the future outcome changes.
Magic is the art of outwitting tomorrow.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I forget where I read that, but...
I'd never heard that one.
The tarot is key to that.
Right, yeah.
It'll help you outwit tomorrow if you follow its wise counsel.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes... we just want to get it on, and do what we want to do.
Right.
And disaster can ensue, but hey. Mm-hmm. Right. How do you look at the devil card? What is the general meaning of that to you?
For me, when I get the devil card, I like to say, imagine a baboon, right? A baboon will reach through a hole to grab something and then can't get his hand out.
Right. Trapped.
Trapped. Won't let it go.
Yeah.
And he could die.
Yeah.
Because he won't let it go.
Right.
That's the way I look at the devil card.
Yeah.
There's something that you need to let go of that's hurting you.
I usually interpret as addiction.
Well,
addiction.
It's something that you can't let go of.
Right. You can do it because the chain around your ankle or neck is loose and can be slipped off.
Right.
But it takes will.
Right.
And it takes just the sheer will to succeed.
Right.
But if I'm doing a reading for a client, random person, if that comes up, I'm thinking there's some substance abuse issues.
Yeah, I never think substance abuse. I just, like I said, addiction to anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but it's definitely addiction.
Yeah.
I don't read it as some negative spiritual power.
Right, no,
not the traditional sense that people think of the devil.
Right, no.
Devil ultimately is a trickster, but you can out-trick him.
It's vice.
Yes, it's vice.
That's what I get when I get the devil card. I see vice.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So we did all 10 of them?
We did all 10 of them.
My goodness,
Thank
that
you
went
so much
fast.
for hanging out, y'all. Yeah, that went really fast.
Right.
So thanks for hanging out. Tune in next week where we cover 10 more.
Yep.
Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, all the places.
Good night.
Good night.